Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome back to Plague Inc. Evolved with me, Lathrix. Today we're doing another high-starred one. For some reason I'm in the mood for the higher star scenarios. We'll be going back to our usual trying to find good ones in the bad later on. But today we're playing this, Algium, by Logic. Oh, it's by Logic! I didn't even know that. We've played his ones several times in the past, and generally speaking they've been pretty darn good. So hopefully they will stay here. He's also been talking to me on the channel, so that's why I responded like to the name. This single-celled organism, has realised it can infect animals. Well, I'm glad it has a mind of its own to further grow and reproduce, and has started by infecting the human race. I'm assuming it might be some form of algae. Help it grow, develop, and mutate into something well beyond the imagination. We'll keep all the usual stuff. Normal, we are Algium. And that's just the stuff thing. Help it grow, develop, and evolve into something humanity could have never fathomed. Mutation. Select the country to mutate the first algae. These plants... Ooh, that's not correct. Like humid environments and are more effective with large numbers of hosts. Algae are not technically plants. But let's continue regardless. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, let's decide. I'm gonna go with India because it seems right for algae. Saudi Arabia seems far too, deserty. So what have we got here then? We have, ooh, these look good. Flaking walls. Cell walls become so thin they split apart, reducing the cell severity, but allowing it to be so movable they can even travel through air. That makes very little sense, but okay. Thin wall. I'm surprised he didn't choose the fungus. The cell wall becomes able to stretch out and catch current in blood veins and water streams. That sounds pretty cool. Amoebic movement. Cells are able to move by extending tendrils and dragging themselves along, also known as flagellum. This is slow. This is a slow process, but is better than nothing. Increases infectivity. And finally, chlorophyllic cells. The amount of chlorophyll in the cell increases, allowing them to exist outside the host without need for their nutrients. Particularly effective in rural environments. But I thought it was a algae becoming pathogenic, so wouldn't we already have that? Spontaneous awakening mutates the algae in a random place to become part of the evolution. Not sure what that means, but okay. Host honing. Cells are able to adapt to connect with more hosts. Increases infectivity, particularly in urban environments, as well as mutation chance. Multicellular. Cells gain the ability to morph together when in large groups to function as one body. Then we have protective cell wall. Cell walls become resistant to hot and cold temperatures. Transparency. Cells become more transparent throughout, making them harder to study. It may sound silly, but there's actually a problem with some bacteria when you're trying to study them under a microscope. You can spend hours trying to stain the damn things, but if they don't respond to stains, then it's a nightmare. Trust me, I know this. Unstable strands. DNA of the cells become unstable, more likely to mutate on their own. I think I'll probably go with chlorophyllc cells, because I'm curious to where that's going to go. Organelle strength. The organelles in the cells become resilient to harmful stimuli, increases effectiveness in rich and urban environments. We also have bubbles. Cells can bubble up in the heat, and whenever they are not suppressed by drugs and antibiotics, bubbles increase effectivity in poor regions and hot environments. Okay, I'll probably go with organelle strength. Still curious to see where it's going. Plus, of course, we have got transstasis currently on, which means we want transmissions. Hopefully we'll just get the mutations anyway. Organelle strength leads to nothing. Oh, my life was a lie. Bubbles. Oh, really? Both of them need other things? That sucks. Why would you do this? Why you do this? Kind of want unstable strands. Okay, I'll grab that. Unstable strands 2. DNA strands become even more unstable and less predictable. Further increases mutation chance. I guess amoebic movement, which leads to longer tendrils. Flagellum. Or flagella, depending on pronunciation. More efficient movement allows the cells to travel quicker. Yay! Which leads to finally cell strength. All parts of the cell and tendrils become stronger, making the cells more resilient, increasing infectivity. Sounds good to me. Ooh, costs a lot though. Okay, what does multicellular leads to? Ooh, things. Blobs. Cells can congeal to form blobs that cause discomfort in the host. I'll grab that. And itchiness. The bulbs under the skin cause hosts mild itchiness. Scratching spread cells, increase infectivity, particularly in urban environments. Sounds cool to me. Spreading nice and quickly now, and we've spread to our first new country. Wonderful. What's this one? Cells can string together to form strands that can travel further than single cells, increase infectivity, and is not very noticeable. Complex congealations. Or congelations. Cells are able to form more complex organisms. Or should I just focus on transmissions and go more mutation heavy? Who knows? Maybe both. Maybe both. Let's see. Thin walls, which leads to elastic walls. Cell walls are able to reshape themselves, slightly increasing effectiveness in hot and cold climates. Okay, this is about mutations. Okay. Mutates the algae in a random place to become part of the evolution. Oh, it's a spore burst. That's what they mean. See, when it said evolves in random place, I thought maybe it increases mutation or something. Okay, never mind. Ooh, things. Planes, mishap, tubes, and masses. Plane. Cells form flat sheets that are... Oh, that kind of plane. that are good at catching both air and water currents. Somewhat noticeable. That's cool. I like how it's both pathogenic and multicellular. That's certainly something different. Other than, like, the Nirax worm. Mishap. Cells can now form random misshapen congelations that have no real purpose. This uncertainty increases mutation chance and makes it more difficult to study the cells, as well as increasing infectivity, so... Mutation chance and effectivity, I'm perfectly fine with that. Masses. In masses, cells can distribute nutrients evenly amongst themselves, increases effectiveness in humid and arid environments, but causes moderate irritation in the host. But I'm now going to get protective cell wall. Ooh, things. Cold resistant wall, heat resistant wall, climate resistant wall, and finally drug resistant wall. The cells develop walls specifically designed to resist extreme amounts of cold. Okay, I'll grab that. Then we'll also grab the drug wall as soon as we can. The drug wall. Doesn't that sound like the most cool wall ever? Cell walls develop resistances to allow cells to bypass low-level drugs. Have we had no mutations yet? That's really peculiar for a virus, even without bonuses. Tubes. Tubes function as a form of insulation cells. And cells in this form are somewhat resistant to the effects of temperature. We also have this new thing. Warped planes. The planes can now be greatly warped and misshapen. Increases resistances and cells are harder to study in the lab. You also have organisms. Cells now gain the ability to permanently form connections with other cells and morph into unique organisms. But I think still spreading would be nice. Increases infectivity in urban environments as well as mutation chance. Read that earlier. Okay, what else is this? Strenuous honing. Cells put stress on their DNA structures in order to multiply faster, increasing infectivity and mutation chance. I'm okay with that. All the mutations. Hopefully, at some point. Okay, minor host control. Cells can now slightly influence hosts to perform actions that spread the cells. Increases land transmission and effectivity. Self-control. Cells have complete jurisdiction over themselves and can decide whether to use host bodies or not. Increases land transmission as well as rich and poor effectiveness. Wow, how many things are here? Unlocks the doors to hidden genes. Strength control awakening. Animal control. Cells can now use animals besides humans as hosts. Increases infectivity over land, particularly in rural regions. So I think I'll need these two to carry on. Getting a lot of DNA per one as well, which is nice. Okay then, let's get cell strength, which leads to resilience. Cells resilient to outside influences, increases drug resistance and greatly increases infectivity. We'll grab that. I think I should save it for, yay, random mutation, but I think I should save it for mutations at this stage. Sorry, for evolutions. Symptoms! Okay, screw it, we're going to eat that next. The structure of DNA begins to break down, mutation chance greatly increased. Oh, I don't want these because I want to get everywhere first. In most islands, just Greenland and Iceland seem to be resisting our influence. Never mind. Hello, Iceland. Wow, just got everywhere at once. So just Greenland left. So let's see if this actually is a spore burst. Algae awaken in 2 more places. Yep, it was a spore burst. Don't really need the last one. Oh, but it is... okay, let's carry on. Symptoms then. Okay, organisms which lead to... Ooh, walking creatures, worm creatures, and winged blobs. Winged blobs. Blobs can now flap frantically and fly for a short time. Sorry, for a time. Increases infectivity and is very noticeable. Screw it, we're getting that. Wing stability. Organisms perfect the form of wings. Walking creatures. Cells are masked to imitate their own structure, forming large tendrils that they use to walk. This makes them quite mobile and very noticeable. Ooh, sharp tendrils. Tendrils are now viable weapons and will be used as such. That's cool. Though I do think we spent too much DNA. Worm creatures got mutated, yay! Worm organisms greatly improve their ability to be difficult to study in lab conditions. Okay. Let's get animalistic instincts, which leads to, aerial predators. The organisms become masters of the sky that learn new and better ways to attack and infect other species. That imagery is horrible, like a flying plant of bird nature. I was thinking like a bird's like infected with tendrils. Oh, we got it for free as well, which is wonderful. Let's go with deceit. So worm organisms greatly improve their ability to be difficult to study in a lab, which leads to jawed claws. Sharp prongs that were not enough, but claws with jaws. Claws with jaws. Jawed claws. Now that should do. 26 DNA, but we are quite lethal, so hopefully we'll be getting DNA soon for our kills. Air dominance, mutate for free anyway. The organisms become masters of the air, I think we'll read this, I'm not sure, and learn all the ways to survive and thrive within it. But I want this one, I want the jawed claws. Clawed jaws. Lone predator. The organisms learn the weaknesses of all species and pose as a potential threat to their existence, and proceed to eliminate them. Longer strands, that one. Larger groups of cells string together in order to travel further distances, slightly noticeable but increasing activity, which finally leads to pronged strands. Cells now string together to form prongs on the strands that allow them to travel further, but cause irritation in the host. Yay, there's no healthy people left in the world. Last one. Sentience. The organisms and the cells are now able to think and act for themselves. Ooh, awesome. I'll grab that. Well, actually, yay, being. Congratulations, you managed to eradicate humanity and doom their bodies to use as nutrients for the sentient algae. What will happen next? Will the algae reign forever, or will another species rise up and overthrow them? It's up to you to decide what in the next rendition. Thanks for playing. Victory! Wonderful. That was very enjoyable. The only thing I would say, only two things I would say, is that it would be nice if the win condition was on like a different tree completely, rather than having to go through the lethality to get to it, because it doesn't really give you much choice. If it had like a non-lethal kind of side tree, maybe, that would be nice, but that's not too much of a concern, really. Overall, it's well made. It wasn't particularly balanced. I think it's quite easy. It's very, very enjoyable, with a lot of creativity, along with a lot of unique things in there. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. The only other thing I'd say is, of course, the usual thing, which is custom images. That's always lovely to see. But other than that, really, really good. So thank you for watching, Sir. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed playing in this lovely scenario, which I did definitely enjoy. Thank you, Mr. Logic, for another great scenario, and I hope to see you all next time. If you haven't already, taking 5 seconds to hit the like button really does mean the world. It causes me to be more happy about doing Plague Inc. and just helps out with the channel in general. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Have a nice day.